Sunday streams, should we call it that? Is that a good thing to call it? I hope that you can see me. I'm watching the stream here before I start officially. So I'm just making sure that everything is streaming and that everyone is happy. And I think maybe that the stream is now live. So if you can hear me, say hello in the chat, because, you know, it's much better to have wonderful people watching than it is for me to just be bored and talking to myself, which, you know, it is not so much fun, really. I'm just going to play with some of these settings here for a second. Please forgive me. I want to make sure that I actually have everything as it needs to be in the relevant windows. For some reason, this is still saying we're here but self-isolating. Hello to everybody who's watching on Periscope. Hello and welcome, and hello to everybody who is watching live on YouTube. We've got several different things going on today. Apologies for the tardy start to today, because I was going to do it on the back porch, and then the weather forecaster said, well, we had a 60% chance of rain. So I decided that I would start on the front porch instead. And now it looks like it's going to be sunny, but that's okay. We've got some unboxings to do with you today, which would be cool. And we've also got people watching in the Periscope chat. So I want to make sure that I say hi to both of you, to both streams, both of you watching. You broke it. We can hear you. I broke it, yeah. So I'm going to make sure that I can big up the chat on both of these, and hopefully with my terrible eyesight, I will actually see everything. So we had to move things around. I hope everyone's fine and everyone's having a wonderful time, and I hope you are staying safe. Thank you to everybody who sent me well wishes this week. A little bit of an update, because if you follow me on Twitter, you may have been a little bit worried. Bottles! One of my favourite fursuit performers is just watching on a front porch. Is that a frauch? Yeah, I like that. We're on the frauch. Christine, you're a genius. So anyway, hello to all the people in the chat. Norway, North Sweden, hello. I do not speak Norsk, so I have to make sure that that I have to learn that from Kate. Snowing today here, nice weather there. Says the Sweden EV Guru. I like that. It is a lovely, lovely, lovely day here. It's raining on and off, which is why we are on the frauch. Thanks, Christine. That was good. That was. But basically, what happened was I was setting up out back, and then I realised, and then I was like, you know, if it's gonna rain, I've got a light, I've got a camera, I've got my laptop, I've got all these other things. I am still recovering from the cold, which, you know, we'll talk about in a second. And I didn't want to get wet, and we don't have cover out back. It's also a bit cooler today, and so rather than keep a door open for the Ethernet cable, yes, we're using Ethernet, because even though it's, you know, even though we're in the middle of nowhere, and we're the only people with Wi-Fi, probably in, I don't know, however many miles, Wi-Fi is not so reliable for video. So we have hard wiring that we plug everything into when we're doing serious streaming stuff, gaming, all of that. We still use Ethernet. And for those who don't know, this house is flood wired, which means there's basically an Ethernet jack in every room. Some rooms have more. We've got 8 in the office, which is probably a bit of an overkill. 27 Ethernet ports throughout the house, and that includes 2 in the garage. The garage is just over there, and so we have a lovely long Ethernet drop cable running from the Ethernet port in the garage, under the garage door, out onto the front porch, all the way to here. So I don't know what's worse, the fact that we have an Ethernet port in the garage, or the fact that we have a drop cable that's long enough to get to the front porch, and I knew exactly where it was, because we have everything pretty organized. So I hope that the camera is not too overexposed. It does look a little bit overexposed. So I wonder if I can fix that. Gotta run, gotta see you back in the land of living. Good to see you back in the land of living. All the best, says the plug seeker. You too, my friend. Stay frosty, stay cool. I don't know how you're going to run if you're in the UK and not allowed to go anywhere. Where's your handkerchief? Get a drink. Your voice needs one. Yes. Yes. QA Library. Hi, Nikki. Not sure what YouTube is up to. Even on my sub feed, it does not list you as being live on this channel. So here's what you guys can do. Help me out. Retweet the fact that we're live. Support us. Go out on the intertubes and say, hey, Nikki's live on Transport Evolved Take 2. We're going to be doing some unboxing today. We're going to be unboxing some cool things right behind me. One is EV related and one is gardening related, so that's cool. What is that? Like a weird, dangerous thing. All right, so this is my one of my latest cherished awesomenesses. These are some of my strawberries. They are ever-bearing, which means that they will continue to produce fruit all summer long, and I need to put them in the garden when it stops raining. So these are some of my strawberries. I've forgotten the variety of these, which is very bad. It's a local, well-known one that grows well in Portland. I bought these back at the end of February, beginning of March. Actually, beginning of March I bought them. It's so cold you can see my breath. That's how cold it is here today. I bought them as just basically just the bare bundle of roots. The crowns is what you call them. And I potted them up. Oh, I'm just dropping soil everywhere. So they're doing really well. My strawberries are good, which is good. And then behind me I've got my roses. They're going to be going up. And then we've also got some garlic. Garlic is super easy to plant. I want you all to know about planting garlic, because we're all in this epidemic together, right? So check this out. I have to be really careful, because these are recycled pots, or made from recycled material, and I don't... Wow, look at the roots on this one. I'm going to turn this upside down. These really do need to go into the garden. Look at that. Lovely healthy roots popping through the bottom of that pot there. That is fantastic. So this is garlic that I bought at the store, and you buy a clove of garlic at the store, and you just wait for the tips to start to go green. You break apart the individual cloves, and then you just whack them into your soil, into your potting compost, and they're pretty hardy. I kept them indoors for the first week, and now they're living on my porch. But as you can tell, this one especially needs to go outside. It's certainly ready to go. And the nice thing about these pots is that you can actually break them apart, because they're just recycled material. You can see that one is tearing a little bit there. And what happens is that you can pull this apart and you can plant them in the soil. And I just basically slit down the edge of these pots with like a box cutter or something, and then just plant them in the garden. I wish I could show you the garden. I have been playing with a remote stream camera, but again, Wi-Fi problems. We need a better Wi-Fi for the house, basically. So if anyone's got any tips and suggestions for a mesh wireless networking system, I would love to hear it, because we've got about 1/3 of an acre, and it'd be good to have internet wherever we are in the house. So we've actually got wireless networking, but it goes down the valley to our internet service provider. So there we go. That's my garlic. Was that the same red truck? No, this is rural Oregon. They're all, they're all red trucks in Oregon. All right, so I'm going to go back and talk through some of the chats with you. I know some of you are talking to me in Periscope. So if you're watching in Periscope, do talk to me. It does take me a while sometimes to go back and read some of the comments that come through on Periscope. So please bear with me. Oh, something went wrong, and it's not your fault. Well, I mean, that's good, I suppose. Periscope is back, so hopefully now I can talk to you guys, and we'll see what you are all saying. Here we go. I don't know why Periscope is not letting me read your chats, but if I see any in the Periscope, I will go from there. All right, so cash at me $100, please. I'll be back in a few weeks with a stimulus check. I can't, I'm afraid, Rico, but thanks for commenting. That's nice. Hope you stay safe. All right, so you're all talking about the notifications for YouTube. I don't know why That doesn't work, but there we go. Have you been planting potatoes yet, says QA Library. You keep talking about that. Look up The Real Martian. He's converting an 18-wheeler trailer into a food-growing processing plant. The Real Martian, as you mean inspired by Andy Weir. I'm sorry, the sun's just come out, so it's probably going to get brighter. That's not a red pickup truck. Anyone know if COVID-19 can be spread just by breathing? I'm not an epidemiologist, but from what I understand, it can stick around in the air. So I guess, yes, it can be aerosolized, or I can't remember the actual way of doing it, but yes, it can. And it can stick around in the air for quite a while, which is not so good. All right, apologies for the changing in lights. We're using a webcam that's being a little bit problematic today, and I really need to get a new camera so I can do these live streams a little bit more effectively. But there we go. So some of you were asking about project cars. Now, the project car we've decided to buy is the City, I nearly said City L, the City car. Couldn't think of the name of it. The little yellow city car, 1974 Sebring city car. So we'll be buying that. We've committed to buying it. And so what we're going to do is we are going to convert it from an electric car to a petrol gas guzzler. No, I'm joking. We are going to convert it from a slow, old lead acid series wound motor with lead acid batteries and resistive contactors. There's not even a controller in it. It has a series of basically switches that clunk in and out depending on the resistance of the position of the pedal. It's not even a resistance-based system, it's just a position of the pedal that activates 3 different switches depending on whether you're going slow, moderately fast, or fast, which in that car is still pretty slow. And so what we will be doing is we're going to look and see if we can get a Toyota rear wheel motor system from like a Toyota RAV4 hybrid, or maybe one of the Lexus hybrids, and it's a rear motor drive unit. It's about 50 kilowatts, and we're going to put that in the city car. At least that's our current goal, unless someone can convince me otherwise. And the reason we're going to do that is that we want to rebuild this city car using only recycled motor and battery components. So we don't want to buy brand new batteries, brand new controllers, brand new anything. We want to recycle and reuse, because one of the things here is very important, is I want more people to reuse and recycle and upcycle and convert, and that's one of the things we're going to be doing here on Transport Evolved, and maybe Transport Evolved Take 2 as well. Are you getting help from Rich and a certain Swedish person? Have I talked to Rich about the project? I think I mentioned it to Rich last time I spoke to him, and I don't know who you're talking about in terms of Swedish person. You might have to give me some more help. I'm going to be getting some help from some guys in Ireland, hopefully, fingers crossed. I've already talked to them about the project as well. Hello from a Brit in France. Yeah, hello. Hello, I hope that France is doing okay. I hope everyone is doing okay all around the world. Ubiquiti have been the best mesh network products. Yeah, they have. So one of the problems we've got at the moment from our networking, stop playing with a box cutter, Nikki. I put it down on my laptop. One of the cool things about our house is it's 2,000 square feet, so it's quite a big house. One of the not so cool things is that the server closet is right in the middle of the house, which you'd think would be a good idea, but all of the server stuff is inside the server cabinet, which is inside the server closet. It does mean that Wi-Fi doesn't quite make it all the way around the house. So we have a secondary Wi-Fi router, which is in a different room, and we use that. And if you hear strange noises in the background, it's because my wife has just started doing some woodworking for the day. She's making a project for her office for when they go back to work. It's like a little cabinet with some Shujiban, I think is what she called it. It's basically burnt wood, and you burn the wood to seal the ends of the wood cells, which helps prevent things from actually getting into the wood. It's like a way of sealing the wood off. And then it also apparently also helps protect it, waterproofs it. So that's one of the things she's making at the moment. So that's why you might hear strange noises in the background. So yeah, ubiquity, we need to look into that. One of the things that I need to talk to you guys about today is where Transport Evolved is going and what we're doing, because it's been a really hard week of soul searching and other things for me. And by the way, Super Chat is now enabled on this channel. So if you want to do a Super Chat or a Super Sticker, just go ahead and whack it in the YouTube channel. If you're watching this on Periscope, you're probably going, what is she talking about? But on the Periscope, you can't do anything like that, I'm afraid. But if you are watching on YouTube, you definitely can. And what you need to do, I think there's just a button that you can go to, and then you can just throw up a live sticker, or a what do they call it? A super sticker, I think they call it. So you can now throw those up if you so wish. Please forgive me, I'm just checking on the status of the server. Hello to everybody who's joining in the main chat there. I hope you're having a lovely time. I hope you're doing great. All right. I think the Swedish person might be the one who made the Tesla Model 3 truck. Oh, you mean Simone Yertz? Yes, yes. I have not spoken to Simone. I should really speak to Simone. It's not Cheese Louise. Sorry, my brain is still a little bit COVID-19. It's not working maybe quite as well as it should. Let's leave it at that. Does that sound? Are we good with that? So my brain is just a little bit fuzzy, and so that means I'm just a little bit not quite with it. So please forgive me there. I'm just checking the status of the stream right now, because people are watching and I want to make sure that I'm not doing anything stupid. All right, so sorry, there we go. A little bit of a pause. Yeah, Simone Yertz is actually Swedish. She's lovely. I've never met her. I would love to meet her. If you all know Simone and you think that, you know, we should get her involved in the project, please tell me and please tell her, because I'd love to get involved. I don't know if she'd be up for a collaboration or not, but we'll see. We have a limited monetization for this stream. There you go, YouTube. You just... Thanks, YouTube. Socially distancing is enough, and isolation is enough to get demonetized. Limited, not suitable for most advertisers, or not most viewers. I don't know, but we're getting demonetized. So if you want to support us, please do other stuff. All right. Varan Govind, I hope I've said that correct. You said, could you cover new EV markets like India? Abso-bloody-lutely. I have been to India once. I would love to return to India. And I would love to actually work with someone in India and make some content. One of the things about this channel is that we're really focused on not just covering one car company. And I think it's important as a global market to cover, as a global channel, because we're on YouTube, to cover global markets. I think this is so important. I think it's super important. And the sun's on my back. It's starting to get really nice and warm, which is lovely, because I was a bit cold there for a second. Yeah, I'd love to cover more markets, and I think that would be a wonderful thing to do. So if you've got ideas for markets or contacts, people I should talk to, please do reach out, because that would be lovely to do. And my wife has come out, and I want her to know that... hello, is that Sawdust?
Yeah.
Oh. So I was telling everybody about your Shuji ban. Shuji ban. Shuji ban. What's that?
This is just sawdust.
Can I see?
Sure.
My wife has been... Is this for the garden?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. You know, we could... Oh, no, this is Port Orford. We can't use this for the chickens, can we?
No.
Oh, such a shame. This is my
Probably
wife,
better.
everybody. She's been doing woodworking. You can
Yeah.
tell because she's got. Look at this. She's got pieces of wood everywhere on her. I don't know if that's close enough, but look, she's got pieces of wood on her, and she's been working on woodworking. You could put that in the compost, though. That would be perfect. Excuse me. I think coughing in a video will get you demonetized, says Will. I think maybe you are right. I think you're probably right. My wife has disappeared, so you can't ask her any questions now. But she's making, as I say, she's making this shishuji bang. But back to the question about India. Yeah, I'd love to cover India more. I'd love to cover China more. I'd love to cover more markets. And I'm also, hi Mrs. Nikki. That's a really good way of saying it. Her name is Kate. She is a different Kate, as you can see. She's a different Kate to the one I work with. There's two Kates. Although I technically work with my wife as well because she is also a co-owner of the company. So it's confusing. Don't worry, it's all good. So anyway, I would love to cover more markets. If you have some contacts around the world that you would like me to reach out to or work with, please do let me know. Look me up on LinkedIn or something if you are in the industry. I will talk to you about such things. Now is a really good point actually talking about social media because I've had a rise in people reaching out on Facebook and saying hi. And I got a couple of people wrote me nasty emails, very upset that I didn't friend them on Facebook. I felt really bad about that, and so that was a black pickup. I feel like I need to address that issue for you guys. So I understand that when I come into your room, whether it's in your TV or your laptop or your computer or your office, well, I'm there and you see me every day making content. It's very easy to think that that person is your friend, and I'm very touched by that. I'm really, really touched by that. I've spoken to other YouTubers about this too. But at the same time, I have to keep certain things for close friends, people that I know personally. And so what I do with Facebook is I don't accept friend requests from people that I don't know. I did it for a while and it caused a whole lot of problems, quite nasty problems for me. So I don't friend you unless I know you, I've met you, we've talked a lot, and it's a mutual friendship. If you want to just reach out and talk to me, just as a normal kind of not a close friend, you can reach out to me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter all the time. If you want to just have a conversation with me, like talk to me a little bit more, talk to me on Twitter, okay? That's the place to do it, but not Facebook. So there we go. If you made a cryptic reference to a Paul Hardcastle song, do you think that would get you demonetized? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. All right, so that's tying up the... I'm a bit distracted this morning. That's tying up the question about other markets in India. So yes, Varun, I would love to. I'd love to know where you are in India as well. So do let me know. Someone said, you don't friend me on Facebook because I'm not on Facebook. Yeah, that's the way. And someone else said, I've been adopting the same policy, re-Facebook friends, also not on Twitter. And a lot of people seem to do the same thing. Interestingly, with Facebook as well, I get a lot of people reach out who've met me at conventions, who've met my characters, Queenie Deerheart, Chimichanga Fox, and my other characters, met them at conventions and were like, oh, you're the person behind that fursuit performance. I'd love to say hi and I'd like to be your friend. And I kind of do the same thing there because, again, just personal space and personal life. So that is where we're at. All right, so I'm going to finish off the questions about the car because some of you were asking about the project. At the moment, we've kind of reached an impasse. I've committed to buying it. Haven't actually given the guy the check yet. He's sorting out titling. He's been self-isolating and I've been self-isolating, as you might be able to tell with my throat. And so we haven't actually gone and done anything about it yet. I think it's going to be a slow burner project, and it's going to have to come to the studio. Sorry, it's going to have to come to the house. And it's going to have to come to the house because we are getting rid of the Transport Evolved studio. Which honestly makes me really sad. Really sad. If you were watching this channel earlier this week, you will know that we kind of said goodbye to the studio. And it's come with its own issues. So the story behind the Transport Evolved studio is when we lived in the UK, if any of you watched when we used to do a live show at the weekend, which I guess is what this is turning into. Thank you, Skeeter. That's very, very cute for you for the studio. So when we lived in the UK, and I was doing this as effectively a weekend podcast with guests like Robert Llewellyn, he used to come on, and Chelsea Sexton used to come on, and we had John Volker from Green Car Reports, and loads of other cool people. And when obviously we were with Mark as well, Mark and I used to co-host the channel before Kate joined to co-host. And by the way, Mark is doing okay. Okay. I think he's trying to keep himself safe. He is on the transplant list. Follow him on Twitter. I think that's basically everything he's said on Twitter. He has a rare disease, autoimmune disease, which has meant that he's on a liver transplant list. I don't think I've said anything too much, but he's okay. He's okay. He stopped doing Transport Evolved, not because of anything like between us, but just because he wanted to focus on his own business and he was having health issues at the time. So I miss Mark a lot, and we still talk, and he's doing great. He's such an inspirational guy. I really love him to bits. You know, when I'm having a tough day, I think, bloody hell, I'm not dealing with anything near what he deals with, and he still smiles, he still cracks jokes, and I think he's brilliant. Bloody brilliant. Mark is bloody brilliant. But anyway, back when we were doing that, we had a studio, and I had a broom cupboard under the stairs, which was half a car garage. Basically, it was a single car garage that had been converted by the previous owner into a little dining room, but there were no windows or anything, which was kind of weird. They called it a dining room. I don't know what they used it for. I'm not gonna... Anyway, it became our studio, and that's where we did the green screen and stuff like that. And when the kids were younger and they were at school, I would film in the living room every day with a green screen, and it was a pain in the butt because I had to break down the lights, I had to break down the green screen. It took about an hour to get everything set up, half an hour to an hour to film, and then 30-40 minutes to tear everything up. When we moved to the United States, we'd sold our house in England, it was 2015, and we moved to an apartment complex where we had a townhouse. We had a single car garage, we had a downstairs bedroom for my son, we had upstairs bedroom for my wife and myself and my daughter. She had her own bedroom upstairs and we had a bedroom upstairs. And then on the second floor, which would be the first floor in England, took me a while to get around that. We had basically a single room, dining room, kitchen, living space, all in one. And trying to film there just proved a nightmare. Trying to work there proved a nightmare because I didn't have anywhere I could shut myself off and focus and work because the bedroom wasn't big enough to work in. And so we looked for an alternative, and I started off with WeWork, had a little studio at WeWork. It was just an edit space where I could go and edit. I still had to film at the house, but I edited at the studio. And then that moved into the studio that we had in Portland, which I used to call the Enterprise Studio, because the address was 1701, and my suite was the 4th suite, so it's suite number 4, and it was 1701, and so I called it Enterprise because it's 1701D, which was very silly. We had there, and that was where Erin was, which Erin joined us there, and we had a space for filming, but it was a single room, and that was really difficult again. And then we moved out to Hillsborough. We have a studio in Hillsborough right now. It's 1,200 square foot, which is half the size of this house. And we've got a storeroom, we've got an edit suite, and we've got a studio space for the lights and the green screen and everything else. But that place costs us about $1,200 a month to rent, plus $200 or $300 for the internet, plus $100 for the electricity. And that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but we were doing fine. We were, you know, making ends meet. The business was making ends meet. I'm able to pay Erin, and I was able to pay myself a small salary, and I still am a small salary. And that was working fine until all of this kicked off. And so now we've got a studio in downtown Hillsborough that we're not using because we're not allowed to go there. So I'm paying $1,200 a month for a studio I can't use. I'm paying $200 and some for commercial internet, because commercial internet is a lot more expensive that I can't use. And we were paying the electricity bill. So what we did last week was I went down on Monday when I was feeling sort of okay. I shouldn't really have done that. I went down to the studio, drove door to door, got out. I unpacked the server cabinet, took the main Transport Evolve server out, put that in the car, put my main edit machine in the car. Erin already has her computer at her house because I made her work from home like 3 weeks ago. So she's been working at home for 3 weeks. And we decided we were going to keep the studio, we were going to keep the edit machine and the server at the studio. But the problem was there was a discrepancy between the backup server at this house and the main server, and it meant that we couldn't edit at the house. What we used to do was edit at the house, push up an XML file, which is like a special text file containing instructions so that the computer at the other end can rebuild the file with all the really big scary video files and then push it out onto the internet. But that wasn't working because there was an error, and we just kept erroring out. And so I decided to bring the edit machine here because it's faster. It's not a laptop. I would have been editing on this laptop that I'm using to stream with, which is fine until you're trying to do 4K video and all these other things. So I brought my edit iMac Pro to the house. I brought the server to the house. I spent all day Monday tearing down the house at the network closet and rebuilding it so we could fit the server inside. The backup server is now in one of our spare rooms, and we're looking for a co-location service for our server. So if you know of a server farm or a co-location provider that maybe uses renewable energy and has really good pricing, we just want to put a 4U server in there. Now, initially, I was going to put that locally somewhere in the vicinity to me, and then I realized that I live in one of the most seismically challenged parts of the world, and if there is a massive earthquake, I really want the backup server to be thousands of miles away, somewhere else in the United States, or maybe in Canada. So if you know someone, if you have any ideas about a co-location specialist, we can do that, and we can just push that server there. The reason that server exists is because it's cheaper for me just to put new hard drives in the machine when needed, and back up stuff to it. We're backing up somewhere between 8 gigabytes and like 200 gigabytes a day, depending on what we're backing up. And we don't back up any of the render files or any of the project files. We just back up the source files. And so that's what we do. Isn't 4K video overkill? How many people have 1080p? Less than 1080p? Well, I mean, we don't actually output 1080 4K most of the time, but a lot of the videos, like the GoPro stuff, is all 4K because it allows us to punch in, it allows us to get in, and it means that we can reframe things a little bit better. You don't need a Tesla Powerwall, you just need net metering. I think I need to go back and look at some of those a little. So Varun says, I am from Bangalore, or Bengaluru. I guess I don't know, do you call it Bangalore or do you call it Bengaluru? There are lots of EV scooters in India, but this generation EV cars are limited to Kona EV, the MG ZS EV, and the Tata Nexon EV. Yeah, I didn't see very many EVs when I was in Bengaluru earlier on this year. All right, so let's go back to some of these questions. Todd says everyone is having hard times. They are. When it comes to income, and major changes must happen. Bills don't pay themselves. You are totally right, Todd. And that's one of the reasons why we're deciding to switch up. Now, we live in the middle of nowhere. This internet that we're using right now to talk to you is bloody expensive. It's almost as expensive as our internet in our studio. And it's not anywhere near as fast. We're about a third of the speed to what we're paying at the studio. We're paying about the same as what we pay at the studio, but we're getting a third of the speed as to what we get on the studio. And so I'm going to ring up Comcast tomorrow, or whoever it is, Frontier, who are just about to change to someone else anyway. And I'm gonna basically cancel the contract ahead of time because it will save me about $1,000, and that's really good. And my goal is to keep my employees, to keep paying my employees. So if that means I lose a studio and I have to, pile boxes into my attic or into my basement, which I don't have, my crawl space, then so be it. It's more about people than it is about buildings, right? So that's why we're doing it. That's why we're moving the studio. And I'm very sad to see the studio go. It means that we're not going to be doing a lot of the set stuff that we're going to do. It means that my wife is going to have to build a Murphy bed for one of the rooms in the house. We have a room in the house right now, which is ostensibly the guest bedroom. It's got a double bed in it. It's also what we call the floof room. It's where I do all of my crafting, and I work with my fursuits, work repairs, and I'm building a fursuit at the moment, all in that room. All of that's going to have to get moved somewhere else. I have no idea where. And we'll put the cameras and the green screen up there, and maybe have a pull down green screen, or maybe paint a wall green. It's not going to be ideal, and in the summertime it's going to get hot because this house gets a little warm in the summertime. We don't have AC, but it means that everything will be here, and it might mean that we may not. I just got buzzed by a hummingbird. Literally came. Here it is. Hello. Are you seeing? Oh, you disappeared now. I had a hummingbird come in, look at what I was doing, and then disappear again. They do that. They're so curious. Where was I? So that's what we're going to do. That is how we're going to do this, and that's why we're going to do this. I hope that you'll be able to take advantage of the stimulus pack. Now, this is the interesting thing. Transport Evolved is doing okay right now. We're not doing great. We are doing okay. We made less than $100 this week on YouTube because I didn't make videos, and because the viewer count has dropped, and because ads are not being bought on YouTube. But March as a month was pretty good. I think yesterday was pretty good. I think today, hopefully, well, we're not going to make any money on this video because YouTube's demonetized it, but we are going to be slowly picking ourselves up and starting again. And if we can save what amounts to nearly $2,000 a month on a studio and move it here, then that means I can maybe get a video editor, which is, if you've been watching this channel, you know me, it's the one thing we're desperate for, is a video editor, because I do all of the video editing right now, and it is tough. So, long story cut very short, we started having a studio when I was living in a rented accommodation. Just shortly after moving to the United States, we were living in rented accommodation, and home life was pretty challenging. Work was tough, and so I needed somewhere where I could work, that house that was safe for all. And we moved studios. So we already own this house now, and we have a bigger house. We have a living room where the camera is currently set up, and the lights. And my daughter, bless her, she's dealing with it. She likes, plays computer games in there. She's doing okay with that. So studio camera down there. I've got an edit room upstairs. I'm sharing my wife's office with her, and then we have a dining room, kitchen area that is separate from the rest of the house. So we've got plenty of different areas where we can actually, not only I can go and film, but other family members can disappear. When we were living in a house where there was basically 3 bedrooms and then an open plan room, if I needed to film in said open plan room, I had to kick everybody else out to their bedrooms, which was not a good thing. That's not a problem now. So I guess we don't need the studio as much as we did. So there we go. All right. Could you get Linus to look after your backup? That might, maybe, I don't know. it's fun because trying to talk to people like Linus, it's the same as trying to talk to people like me. It's hard because I'm sure he gets a lot of different people reaching out to him, and I don't want to bug him. I've talked to 45 Drives. Maybe I'll talk to them again and see if that you know, is more important. People are more important than things. It's totally cool. Why no tape backup? Because I just haven't set it up. Tapes are expensive, but if somebody wants to help me set up tape backup, talk to me. I would love to talk to you. That would be awesome. I'd love to do that. Right now, we've nearly completed the backup. So stats, we probably have, I think we have 60 or 70 terabytes of storage that we're currently using on the main server, and then we've got 30 terabytes on the second. Hi Nikki, pleased to see that you are carrying on with the Hangouts, and I think that this is the right channel for it. Fantastic, Mike. That is Sheep Shearer Mike. Do you actually sheep shear? Do you shear sheeps? That's cool. I haven't done that for a long time. I'd love to learn about video editing, but I've only ever learned what I've had to do for the job I was already doing, which has been document editing. It comes with time, it comes with practice, and it comes with time. Don't worry about this, letting the studio go. It will come back when things are better. Well, you know what? I'm starting to wonder if I need it. Although the internet connection to this house is expensive, if I put the money that I was spending every month on this internet here rather than at the studio, I would be laughing. And if it wasn't for the other thing, obviously, is that we're waiting for Elon's internet to get here. And if that really does, if it really does deliver in terms of latency and bandwidth, then we're not going to have a problem. We could get a microlink down the valley, and we could have gigabit networking here, but that's really expensive, and I'm hoping that Starlink is going to be a lot better. So for now, we're going to go from there. All right. Sorry being late, just mowed the lawn. That's totally okay. Could you outsource some editing jobs to Linus' team rather than having a specific editor? I could, but again, I don't know how expensive they are. I'd have to talk to them about it. But he travels by server cabinet, so no fuels to talk to Wendell at level 1 TAC. I haven't. I really should. That would be fun. And somebody's saying, if you're going to build a Murphy bed, I highly recommend Easy DIY Murphy bed. You can get the hardware video instructions and a complete cut list. I'll have to look into it. So for those who don't know, my wife does, she does video editing. She does woodworking as a hobby. And so she does a lot of video of woodworking. And she's going to be building the chicken coop for our chickens. By the way, update on the chickens. The chickens are doing great. They have been laid. That's all I know. The eggs have been laid. And we'll be picking the chickens up in a not too distant future. So the chickens are due to be picked up on the 17th of April. So they haven't hatched yet, but they will be hatching probably about the 16th, and then we'll get them, and then we'll go from there. So I'm really excited. We've changed that. Have you looked at Floatplane for uploading videos to? Yes, I'm actually on the Floatplane wait list, so I need to wait for those guys to look. And Mike Sheep Shearer says, yes, I do shear sheep in real life, and I've worked for Hillside Animal Sanctuary near Norwich and Cromer. Cromer, oh fantastic, awesome. There you go. Maybe I'll have to come and shear a sheep. I think I did it once when I was much younger. But I grew up on a dairy farm, so I'm more about dairy point of connection. Yeah, I know. I love a lot of the stuff that Linus and the guys do. I love them to bits. I've met, I think, a couple of the team. Haven't met Linus. We keep our paths you know, crossing somewhere along the line. And something's just happened to my live stream. Oh dear. So something just happened, and I don't know if the chat is working or not. I thought, all right, so I'm gonna read some of the chat while this happens, and I'm gonna keep an eye on the chat, and if it gets severed, then I will it back. Okay. All right. My sister's been to your place a number of times, says QA Library to Sheepshearer Mike. Oh, that's cool. I need to find a local Electrify America with ABB chargers to test this out. Not particularly looking at going to Three Rivers Mall and Kelso to test it out, says the little snow leopard. So what Kia is talking about is that her little Snapmobile, which is a Chevy Spark EV, and I know I do this, I just call it the Snapmobile, and you know, whatever, because she's a friend of mine. She is an amazing mascot fursuit performer. Her character is Lychee, who likes snow. So if you see a giant pink snow leopard who likes snow, it's probably Lychee, and she has an electric car, and she has a Spark EV, and she's driven it to Seattle and back, even though the Electrify America charging network is a bit funny and it doesn't work, and for her at least, because there's a problem with the Spark EV, and I think she's figured out whether it works or not. She's going to try it out. So there we go. So that's a little in-joke there. All right, so I thought Volkswagen was ordered to build out Electrify America as a penalty for Dieselgate. Don't you think it's unfair they price gouge? Honestly, I'm not sure what you're referring to with price gouging, because if you have a membership to Electrify America and you have a car that charges at under 75 kilowatts, it's really competitive. They charge more for higher rates of power because utility companies charge surge pricing when you up the amount of electricity, the rate of electricity consumption. So there we go. I don't know. What do you think is the best approach to fast charge a normal removable 2 kilowatt hour What do you think the best approach is to fast charge a normal removable 2 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery with built-in BMS? That is that's one of those questions where I'm like, need more input, Stephanie? One of my favorite films of the 80s, Short Circuit. Need more input, Stephanie. Honestly, I think that well, it depends what you're talking about as fast charging. Each battery is going to have its own manufacturer recommended charge rate, maximum charge rate, and so you need to make sure that you're within that 2 kilowatt hour. We don't know what the voltage is, and you also don't know. I don't know what the maximum the C rate is. It's effectively how much current the battery can provide. So I don't want to get into the weeds in this one, but I would suggest that if the battery is a high voltage battery, you're going to be able to charge it much more quickly than if it's a low voltage battery. You just want to dump a large amount of current in. That's always going to be the thing. All right. Kia says, according to Spark EV forums, ABB has been updating at least the 150 kilowatt charging stations at EA stations so they can properly work with the Spark EV. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, you should definitely go and check that out. You know, maybe that's something that when this thing is better, when all of this social isolation is over, maybe we can make a video about it. If you're willing, I'd be willing to do that. Maybe we could go for a drive together and make a little video about it. Mostly 72 volt battery with 3C rate, 2 kilowatt hour size. 72 volts. So I'm not sure if CCS quick charging will go down to 72 volts. If I was going to be doing that, I'd just be using like a 3 kilowatt charger. You know, you could charge a 2 kilowatt hour battery in under an hour if you had a 3 kilowatt charger. You don't need any faster really than that, I would argue. All right, Mike, is it possible to learn to shear sheep when COVID-19 has gone away in the UK? And the live stream apparently is okay here. All right, so we've been chatting for nearly an hour. I've talked about the studio. I've talked about the project car, which we still need a name for, the city car. I've talked about some of the challenges that we're facing. Oh, while we're talking about, you know, where things are with Transport Evolved, there's going to be a change to the edit cycle. We have got a much slower internet connection here than we had at the studio. At the studio we had 100 down and 100 up megabits per second. Here we have a maximum of 20 down and 20 up through our wireless connection, and if the 4G LTE connection is working, we can sometimes squeeze another 5 to 10 megabits per second out of it, but not normally. Normally it's 1 or 2, and the LTE connection is really a backup if something goes wrong with the back connection to the to down the valley. So we can't upload the files that we had been uploading as quickly as we had been loading it, which is a bit of a challenge, really. And so what we are going to do is we are going to have to upload videos the previous night and then push them live the next day. I think that's how we're going to do it. So it means that we're going to be able to do less videos immediately when a news story breaks. And the reason is that even if I edit it, it then takes a half an hour to sometimes a couple of hours to upload it. So like 10 uploaded overnight. So that gives you an idea of how long it takes to upload that. So I hope that you will understand that this means things might have to get moved around a bit. We're going to try and do our best, basically. All right, here in Sweden, you pay per kilowatt hour, or you can get unlimited rate and pay a monthly fee on DC stations. How does the USA approach on your network providers? In the US, most of the unlimited plans have gone away, but you can pay a monthly membership fee, which could be anything from like $5 to $10, $20, and you get a reduced rate per kilowatt hour. For me, that means that it's a lot cheaper to charge, because I have a membership, and then when I rock up and I charge, I only need to do like 1 or 2 sessions per month for that to work out. And obviously when we went to Texas, when we went to Vegas, we were doing a lot of DC quick charging en route, so it was definitely worth it. And of course my wife went to Missouri in her Bolt at the end of last year, so it certainly paid for itself. And then you rate, most companies are now starting to charge how much power you pull. So if you pull under 50, they charge you one level, and if it's over 100, it's on another level. If it's 200, then it's another level. And someone wants to go out to the Tri-Cities. It would be cool. Yes, but only if you're not, only when you're not allowed to, when you're actually allowed to go out and see people, because right now we need to social distance. That is the most important thing. Let's talk about my cold, because I know a lot of you have been talking and asking about it. They're nearly there. They're nearly at the top of the hill. So I live on a hill. It's a foothill of the coastal range, and we are at about 800, 850 feet here. The top of the hill is about 1,200 feet. So we get people cycling up here on a regular basis, and a lot of people do it for social isolation like that guy did. It's going to start raining in a minute. The clouds are coming in, and it's getting darker. All right, so I want to make sure that this stream is still streaming, because I have a suspicion it may have stopped. So let me make sure that it is still streaming. Yep, everyone is still here. Good. Good. Can you still hear me? I think it's still working. Tell me if you can't hear me. We're here. Good. Excellent. All right. So, yeah, we're going to change how we're putting the videos up. That's a really important thing. My cold. Did you take anything from my cold? Yes, my cold. So, all right. Let's go back to the start of end of February, beginning of March, my wife went to the East Coast as part of a work trip. There had been a cold going around her office before she left. She came back from that trip, and the next day she started to feel really sick. Whatever this was, she had a really sore throat, she had a cold, she didn't have a fever, she was coughing and whatnot. She took a week off work, and then she took about 3 weeks to recover fully for her cough to be completely gone. I started feeling sick about 2.5 weeks ago. I got a sore throat. It developed as a normal cold for the first week, and it really knocked me out. Last weekend I was feeling good, and I did some gardening, and I had a good time. And then Monday I went to the studio and picked up all the equipment, brought it back. And then Monday evening I really struggled. I had really bad coughing. Tuesday and Wednesday were terrible days for me. I was coughing, I was feeling sick, I didn't feel good. Thursday, I think, was the day I went to the hospital. My wife was worried because even though I didn't have a fever, I struggled with, I had a little bit of a wheeze. I had a really bad sore throat. I was, coughing a lot. That's why I'm drinking now. And hello, Jeff. And how that was working was I was really not well. And my wife rang up our family doctor, and said, yeah, my wife's not feeling so good. She's not got a cold. She's not got a fever, but she's got a sore throat. I was feeling achy at that point. Not doing well at all. And she's gone downhill, which I had since the weekend where I'd started to feel better. And so the doctor was like, yeah, you need to go to the emergency room and get tested. So we got put in the car. I got put in the car, driven to the emergency room. They, took some of my vitals. My oxygen level was low, a little low than what it would normally be for me. Not super low, but low. And so they were like, yeah, let's put you in a cubicle. And they came around and they were like, you're not someone who needs to be put, you're breathing well enough and your oxygen levels are good enough that we're not worried about you at this point. You need to go home, drink lots and rest, which is what I did. And then I got better. Thursday, Friday, I started to feel a lot better. Yesterday I was okay. Today I'm a little bit croaky because I didn't drink as much fluid yesterday as I should have done, and I was doing some performing yesterday evening for about 3 hours for an online stream, and I kind of dehydrated myself a little bit. Do I have health insurance? Yes. Now, Bill was asking about oil companies installing EV chargers. Yes, they will. Absolutely. Well, not oil companies, gas station companies, petrol station companies. Absolutely. Petrol station companies don't make money from fuel. They make money from you being there, filling up, coming in and buying a packet of gum or a bottle of Coke or, beef jerky. And so they want you to keep that. They want you to keep coming for that business model to exist. And of course, a lot of upmarket gas stations, especially ones off major routes in the middle of nowhere, will have things like a little cafe. They might have a Subway attached to it or a Starbucks. And so they are installing charging stations already because they want you to come in, charge up and stay there for a half hour, which means you're probably going to buy a couple of coffees, stuff like that. Obviously at the moment that's slightly different, but that, yes, definitely, absolutely. So that's why they are doing it. All right, so it is now 11 o'clock, and I promised my family I would cook them a roast dinner. So let's go to the unboxing. If you didn't watch the start of the stream, this is my front garden. Some of the things on my front porch include this lovely strawberry. I've got several strawberry plants here. And geranium, which is not looking very well at all. I think it's probably dead. It kind of died over the winter, and I'm trying to revive it, but I think it might have. Yeah, I don't think it's very good. I think this geranium is an ex-geranium. And I've got some roses back there as well. All right, so let's unbox the first box which is a review unit which came to me about a week ago. I was sick. I didn't have time to look at it. So let's have a look here. It's a lovely new device that I'm going to be testing on the channel in a couple of weeks. Put it here and you can see it. So this is the new juice box from NLX. We are going to be putting this through and giving it a bit of a test. It's got lovely packaging. I really like this. And make sure it doesn't come flying out. We have the NLX juice box here, and we've got a lovely little mounting plate which will go on the wall with some screws included, and then behind there obviously you've got the cable. This is a one that plugs into the wall, so it plugs into a NEMA 1450, and we've got this got a little card, so if you want help setting it up you can. And then a product registration form, which obviously I'm not going to be doing because this is a review unit. I actually have two of the previous versions of this, and we're going to be doing a video on load sharing as soon as my wife gives me back the garage, because right now it's a wood shop, so we can't do the video. But we've got this fantastic little booklet here. It tells you, juice box requires either a hardwired electrical outlet or a NEMA 1450. Shows you how to go about setting it all up, and how you plug it in. And it's got the different color cables that you need to do if you're going to hardwire it in. And then obviously they've got one in Spanish, and then they've got one in French. So there we go. I don't want to take it out of the box completely, because I'm not going to install it and I want it to be in a good condition, but that is what we've got here, the lovely little juice box. It's got a key here, which I think is what you use to lock it onto the it's what you use to lock it onto the plate so no one can take your charging station. I don't know if it locks as well to prevent other people from using your power or not. It's got this lovely little holder. We actually interviewed Juicebox at CES this year, so this is going to be a really nice bit of kit here. There's a little QR code on the side so you can link it up, and the Juicebox app from NLX is a really nice piece of kit here. Whoops, if I can find it. The EV JuiceNet. Here's the app, and it will connect to your charging station. And you just select the vehicle that you're going to be plugging in. So mine is Artemis. This is obviously set up last seen a day ago because we had to turn off some of the equipment in the house, so I don't think it's connected back up yet. But then it gives you all of the statistics, all of the charging session data. I don't know if you can see that at the bottom. All of the charging session data and everything like that. So this is the modern version of that. It's essentially running the same software. So that is going to be a really cool piece of kit to try out. Let me see if I can get this back on here without causing problems. So thank you to Juicebox for helping us with that review unit. We will be doing a proper review at some point, and I am going to put that back in the box and hope that it behaves itself. There we go. So let's pop that back up like so, and then I'll answer some of your questions because I'm sure you're going to have plenty. All right, so take that care, little snap. Do you get to keep the box, or do you need to send it back after reviewing? I'm going to be sending that box back after I've finished reviewing it. There we go. 20 more likes to go. Is that smart charger with app support? Yes, it is. I hope that just covered. Will I be removing everything I installed at the studio? Yes, sadly. So I need to talk to the guys at Smart Charge America and talk to them about that, because it's sad that we're going to have to let it go. I just can't, you know, if I knew for certain that the current situation with COVID-19, I'm just going to say it because they bloody well demonetized my video anyway. If I knew that coronavirus COVID-19 was not, but the likelihood is that we're facing a global recession. Doesn't matter how much money the government of the United States could throw $40 trillion at this, and we would still have people losing their jobs. We'd still have people economically in a difficult place. The stock market would still plummet. And so at the moment I'm paying $1,200 a month for a studio I can't use until August, when I have the option to not renew my lease. If I ended my lease early, I would still have to pay that money. If I end my internet early, then I have an early termination fee, but I get to save money. And I've turned off the electricity at the studio, so my electricity bill's not going to be very big. But if I was to take that studio on again, I'd probably end up, the inflation for the studio would probably mean that we'd be paying $1,300 or $1,400 a month. And we'd have to pay for the internet and all of that. And again, risk the same thing happening. And if that was to happen, then we would be in a position where we would potentially be in the same place this time next year, where we've got a studio we can't use and it's costing us a lot of money. And if the financial crisis is going to happen as a consequence of the virus, which I think it probably will, people are going to not be able to support us as they are now. So people are going to donate less. Ads, money for videos are going to go down because companies are going to have less money to spend on advertising, which means our income will go down. One of our clients hasn't asked us to do any videos for them recently, and I suspect it's because of the pandemic, and they're worried about that. We have a company that we make videos for consultancy purposes. And so it would be really negligent and stupid of me to not par down. So I'm paring down now so that I can keep the channel running, so that I can keep paying Erin's salary, because she's a good friend and she's a good worker, and I want to be able to keep her employed. I want to help her through this. I'm 40, I'm fine. But she's young, she's starting off her professional career, and I want to make sure that she can continue to do that and grow and be awesome. So, no, that's not the clients in New Zealand, it's different clients. Anyway, no, the company will not forgive the extra month's rent bill. It would be a nice thing to do, but they have been pretty clear about it. They're an investment company, and they're not, you know, not doing it. Having the studio at home will let me design it as I want. You're quite right. But Bill, in response to your question, they're not going to do that. But it would be negligent for me as a business, whether it's through Patreon or Ko-fi, or whether it's through just watching the videos. I would be negligent as a business person to do that. He made it up the hill, and now he's going down again. See? He made it up to 1,200 feet, and now he's tearing down the hill. 5 seconds flat. So I would love to have more people in India watching. I'd love to do that. In fact, I was talking to someone about licensing some of our stuff to India, and it kind of never happened. Maybe by August things will be better, but I'm still enjoying the stripped down version of Transport Evolved. You guys rock. Yeah, we're also still trying to do this road trip in July. I don't know if we'll be able to though. All right. Second unboxing, which has got nothing to do with this channel. It's basically a Transport Evolved take 2, me being a bit silly. All right, so this says heavy, lift with care. So let's find out what it is. I know what it is. This is a gardening product. So a lot of you know we use electric everything here. So we have an electric We have an electric lawnmower, an EV, not an EV Go, an Ego scooter, EV, Nikki, brain. We have an Ego lawnmower. The large battery has really not got through winter at all well. It suffered, I think it suffered through the winter. The small strimmer battery was just fine, but the large mower battery has not been good, so I think we're going to have to buy a new one. But we have electric everything, because we don't want to use internal combustion if we don't have to. And so, this is going to be our mulcher and our small branch shredder. It's a dual purpose, it's made by SunPower. The Zipper, it was, we got it cheap, we got it in a bit of a discount. And this is going to be used to chip all of those tree branches over there. So, this is the bottom, I think. We did it upside down. Trying to do this in a way that doesn't, I don't know how far down that is. Alright, here we go. Alright. We have to got some wheels. We've got a naughty child spanking device. I think it's actually for pushing wood down into the wooden leaves down into the chipper. Got some handles. We've got a snazzy shopping bag, which is obviously for the leaves and the twigs and the mulch. It's not a shopping bag really. It's just so you can take whatever your mulch is to wherever you're going. They give you a snazzy little toolkit as well. And some, believe it or not, some wheel covers. Alright. So the purpose behind this shredder is so that we can mulch the leaves that we have a lot of trees locally. We can mulch in the winter. And in the summertime when, sorry, not in the summertime, in the winter we can shred branches as well. We have a lot of stuff. I'm trying to read some of the things you guys are saying. It's not a lawnmower. Oh, the other thing was an excellent lawnmower, yeah. So these are the wheels. They don't look very sturdy, honestly. But they're little plastic wheels. I mean, they're designed for, you know, for doing plastic wheel things with. Does it ever strike you how much wastage there is in commercial packaging? It's really, it's quite crazy. But yeah, this is going to be our shredder. And looks like we've got pairs of things, which is good. I have once received something in the past where something was broken and we only had one of something. This looks like it's the axle, and I'm not going to take this apart just in case there's bearings and stuff in there. So I'm going to actually do this off camera. But yeah, so this is our project. A couple of friends were like, "Do you need a shredder? Do you need a shredder?" I'm like, "No. Maybe we can survive without one." And then when I realised we've got 3 fruit trees that we just put in. We've got 2 established fruit trees. We're going to be planting some maples. We've got some Japanese maples. These are our Japanese maples. We're going to be planting these as well, and we're going to try and keep them maintained, which means we'll be, you know, chopping off branches most seasons to make sure that the tree stays healthy. And so having a thing to mulch is going to be really important. So we're going to be using this for mulching basically, and a couple of other things. So yeah, there we go. You want to watch me assemble it? All right, let's do it real super quick. But I do have to keep an eye on the time because I need to be gone in the next few minutes. So let's see, make sure that I can use the package here. Too much in the way of packaging. All right, cool. Let's do this. So I'm gonna leave that on its head like so. Now we know why it was on its head. Let's make sure we do it right. I could probably do it without looking at the at this, but I do want to make sure that I do it right. All right, safety, 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 blah blah blah. All right. All right. So first thing I need is this thing here. So you got questions. When in doubt, follow instructions. So the thing I said I wasn't going to open, I'm actually going to open. Right, let's get the box cutter. Yeah, there's definitely a bearing in there. I want to do this very carefully. Make sure I don't break it. Okay, here we go. Then I have to make a start on the lunch that I promised my family. So, no, it's quite all right. It's quite all right. We are doing good. All right, so remove all the wheel nuts and the shaft sleeves, and remove the washers on the wheel axle. It wants us to take these all off. Fine. Alright, insert the wheel axle into the two supporting legs, blah blah blah. These are my supporting legs. Insert them in here like this, and then reassemble on here, which is nice and easy, like so. Same thing on this side. This is not making for fun television. Not making for fun. You know, I just realised that I don't think that's right. That doesn't look right. It must be that way. I think it's that way. Although, let's see the spacing on this. You know what? That was right. Right, I'll try and answer your questions. Would you like to be a farmer again? And if so, what type? Well, I never was a farmer. I lived on a farm. I would consider a small holding. Small holdings are fun, but you know what? Life in the agriculture world is hard work, and I don't know if I would want to do that again, because I would work. I'm sure I would do. I'm sure I would quite happily do small holding. That's a very different thing, you know, self-sustainability and all that. Self-whatnotting. Alright, so those are my wheels. Let's get my... I'm going to use the provided tools, even though I'm not sure that they will be particularly good. So, and you know what? Let's see. I'm trying to follow the instructions. Huh. Oh. So this is interesting. What they're asking me to do, and I'm going to see if this works, I don't know if it will, They're asking me to do this and then lock it on like so. And the quality of the metal on these tools is pretty poor, I've got to admit. And the actual, yeah, you know, it's bending the washer, so I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, that seems pretty tight. Yeah, what this really needs is a spring washer of some description. What it really needs is a spring washer. It's not very good design, I've got to say. That is not good. I'm going to be very critical of that. Don't know if you can see this, but it's causing the washer to bend, which is, you know, all very well and good. But I don't think I would want to go any further, any tighter than that. I think that is our limit. Alright. And then at the end of the day, the next step I think is pretty obvious. All they want you to do is to put these on to secure the nuts. Secure the nuts. That's basically it. And yeah, this is an incorrect assembly, and I'm just going to show you here. So what happens if you over tighten them? Oh, there you go. That's better. It's not sitting square. That is not necessarily a good thing. So let's pop this on here. Honestly, I think what they should get you to do is they should get you to do this bit first, because these are captive nuts on here. You know what? This is not working. This is stupid. Their instructions are stupid. So let's fix this, shall we? We're going to undo this, untorque that, and then it will fit on. Yeah, so much better. Alright, so here we go. There's one. And then there's two. There we go. There we are. Now that is so much better. The other thing they've not provided, and I'm going to give them a bit of a, I'm going to be very critical of these guys, is they've not provided washers for these to lock these down. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm not actually going to finish putting this together, because they need washers, I would argue, maybe spring washers, to ensure that that stays tight. These are nylocks. But with the amount of vibration that this is going to go through, I'm not content that that's going to hold it. So I'm going to get some spacers or some washers and maybe see if we can maybe fix that up and make it tighter. So that is the end of today's stream. Thanks for joining me. If you liked what you saw, please like, comment and subscribe on this channel. And on the main channel, you can support us through Patreon, send us a coffee through Ko-fi. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with more content on the main channel. So until then, thanks for joining me. Keep evolving. And here comes the rain. The rain is coming. Oh my goodness. Hello, rain.